The governor chairs a meeting of the state's Economic Development Corporation in Waukesha. We'll tell you how they plan to fix the troubled agency.
Members of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation say staff needs to move quickly to fix problems at the agency. Good evening, everybody. I'm Susan Simon.
And I'm Eric Franke. An emergency meeting this morning tried to break down the issues pointed out in a state audit last week. Political reporter Jessica Arp tells us how they're responding to this critical report.
We've really got to get a handle on the details here.
In a Waukesha state office building, Governor Scott Walker, sitting as the chairman of the WEDC board, said administrative problems pointed out in a recent state audit and 3 other audits were frustrating.
In some way, until we're able to tackle those issues, it detracts from the otherwise exceptional work the frontline WEDC staff is doing.
This report does not reflect what we want the organization to be. I think it's bothersome to everyone that's working at WDC at this time.
New WEDC CEO Reed Hall went point by point through the audit with committee members, explaining some 57 new policies that are in development to address issues with loan granting, tracking, and even credit card purchase practices. Some policies that were lost in the transfer from the Department of Commerce.
We went from 300 staff down to 50. There's some lost culture, lost history in that move. We're still recreating that.
Some board members expressed frustration with the latest audit, rehashing issues that were already pointed out.
It's very frustrating to not be allowed to function the way a corporation functions in the state of Wisconsin. And we can't pick and choose where, or be limited in that way and be expected to perform the way a corporation performs.
Others said more importantly, the problems need to be fixed immediately.
I see this as an organization right now is in intensive care, and we need to have dramatic improvement quickly. And I think everybody involved needs to understand that.
Well, I think there's been a lot of damage done in the public's eyes. We have to recover their trust because, frankly, the first group that was in charge, the first leadership group, did a lot to damage that trust. And so I think we're only going to do that through proofs.
There's still a number of things that have to be addressed, not only for the confidence of this board, but also the legislature and most importantly the public. And we're not going to let up until we address every one of those concerns.
CEO Reed Hall is hinging much of what he thinks will improve the agency on these new policies, as well as a new computer system for tracking loans and grants and jobs created, and 3 new positions, a CFO and a risk and business manager.
And now tomorrow, Jessica, Reed Hall will have to defend this to lawmakers.
Well, that's right. He will have to appear before the Legislative Audit Committee to discuss his plans. The Joint Finance Committee will also take up funding for the agency tomorrow over protests of Democrats. Republicans say they will likely tie funding to a corrective action plan for many of these problems that have been discussed.
Our political reporter Jessica Arp reporting. Jess, thanks.